welcome to another episode of Snack Sized Business. I'm your host, LB Adams, and it is my joy to help amplify the work of women entrepreneurs, women business owners, women who are driving industry in some way. So today on the Zoom, I'm thrilled to share with you Heidi Gruss. Now, Heidi is the founder of HLG Transformation Coaching, which is really interesting. She is a psychotherapist, and she has a lot of insight into the 3 questions. But first, let me give you her 5 facts. So, she jumped off a bridge, a 30-foot bridge in Strasbourg, France. Let me say that again. In Strasbourg, France, for fun. She met Boris Yeltsin and Jason Harvey in the same day. That's a day. She says her husband likes to tell people that he went to both of his wife's weddings. She says she has never eaten roast beef. I find that amazing. Maybe she's a vegetarian. And she says she was in a bowling league when she was 8 years old and won a trophy for the highest average. So, really interesting stuff. I can't wait to have a conversation with her. Please welcome Heidi Gruss. Hello and welcome to Snack Size Business, Heidi Gruss. I said that correctly, right?
You did. You got it.
Yay, thank you. I'm so happy that you're here. I'm thrilled that you're going to join us for the 3 questions. And then maybe I have a couple more about those 5 facts you sent over. Some interesting stuff there.
Sure. Yeah, it'll be fun.
Okay, so let me jump right into the first question we have.
Yeah.
What conversation do you wish you'd had but did not?
Yeah, I loved this question when you sent it to me, and because it really made me take a step back and reflect. And I love the deep discovery, so that was good. Here's the thing, though. On one hand, I immediately just started scanning all of my relationships in my life, right? Like my personal and professional, going where are there some unresolved or outstanding conversations, right?
Yes.
And so I'm because if any of them are still necessary to have, or that I deem them worthy to have, right? There's still an opportunity to go circle back.
Sure.
Right? So the question just inherently makes you do one of those inventories, because when we leave conversations undone, they really do weigh us down.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Agreed.
So
Agreed.
Yeah. The other thing I loved about this is because as I was thinking about, okay, there's nothing right here on the surface that I need to tend to, but let me go back even further. And what are the conversations that I wish I had had? And there was a theme. And the theme was me speaking to my younger self, saying all of the times I wish I had spoken up, because I really did want to be seen, heard, and acknowledged, but I didn't allow myself to be, right? I learned, about myself along my own personal development journey. There were times when it was my self-worth impacted the way I was using my voice. And
right.
And now that is such an important value that I try to instill in my clients. It's the hard things that we need to say, they don't get any easier by not saying them.
Yes. Oh gosh, I'm so glad you said that. 100% correct.
Yeah. So
yeah, putting them off, waiting, thinking that you can just ignore them. It doesn't make it better. It doesn't make it easier. It doesn't make it go away.
Doesn't make it go away. No. So, yeah.
So that was terrific. I appreciate that. So after scanning, I just want to make sure that I understand. So after scanning, it's more of a conversation with yourself rather than someone else.
Right. Yeah. So the process I went through was I scanned my active relationships in my life, right? So the people where if I wanted to go back and revisit that conversation, there's still the opportunity. Right. And so it's really important to do that type of an inventory. And then the next thing I did was to look back at relationships that really are closed up, the ones that are old, that are,
right.
You're
There's nothing to be done.
There's nothing. I mean, it's over with, but we can learn from it. And so what is the learning? If we want to be seen, heard, and acknowledged, right? Because that's a common internal struggle, right?
Right.
We first have to see, hear, and acknowledge ourselves.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And that was a huge learning for me along the way. And so I'm happy to sort of pay that forward here today.
I love it. That's terrific. I appreciate, those truly introspective answers to the question. So thank you so much. So now on the lighter side though, so you said that you've never eaten roast beef. So are you a vegan or a vegetarian?
No. I go through periods of time where I'm like, I'm just gonna eat a lot of vegetables and stuff. I do love vegetables, but no, it's nothing about being adverse to meat or anything. I just have never, it's never appealed to me. I see it and I'm like, I don't really want that.
Yeah, no, I could, but I'm not gonna. Okay. All right. Terrific. Thank you. All right. Here's our second structured question.
Yeah.
What do you love about what you do?
Helping people see their potential.
So can you talk about that a little bit more? Can you give us like a 1 or 2 line definition of what it is that you do?
Yes, so I am a clinical psychotherapist. I've been in practice for more than 20 years. And about, let me do the math now, about 7 years ago, I branched out also into the whole coaching industry to really expand my service delivery and figure out how I could help people beyond the parameters of my license. Realizing also that there was a big gap of people who needed help, but they didn't qualify for a mental health diagnosis, right? So it doesn't mean that, they're not going through a tough time in their life, even though they don't have, generalized anxiety or they're not going through a major depressive episode, right? Then I started to refine that over time, being a successful business owner myself, really enjoying, the personal leadership, right? Becoming a leader of your life and translating that into how you become a leader in your business or in your profession. I found that really is the place for me. Those are the conversations that I like to have. And, many people struggle with this idea of, am I worthy enough to go and do the thing? I was speaking with a client earlier today, and she believes in higher education. She believes in advanced degrees. That's not the question, but it is, am I good enough to pursue this degree that really is going against most of the social norms, right? Because she's like, what am I going to do with this after I get it? And I'm like, you're going to follow your passion, right? And so holding up that mirror back and saying, you just told me all the reasons why you have to do this. Why are they not then good enough for you?
Right.
To use to move forward, to validate yourself, right? Acknowledge what you're saying, validate it, and move forward. Right. And when I have those conversations where you can all of a sudden see a client sit there and own what their passion is, own their brilliance. I talk about that a lot in my sessions. It is, the most fulfilling thing. A client said to me yesterday, she goes, that's it. That was the nugget. That's all I needed. We don't even need to go any further, And I'm like,
you're fired.
Yeah, right.
Right. You're good. You're fired.
That is the highest compliment you can ever get.
Right. Absolutely.
Say, I don't need you anymore, because we should be empowering them to go out and take risks and do more independently. And then, you know what? You want to come back for round 2, the next level of success. Let's get it. Let's go after it. Yeah.
Right. I love that. So you're all about it's transformation. That's what you love the most about what you do. Transformation. That's wonderful. All right. So here is my third question. What communication advice do you live by?
So there's 2 things. That's the overachiever in me, right? I can't give you just one. You asked for one, I need to give you two. All right. So the first one is, there is a solution to every problem. Okay. Now you just have to be willing to accept the solution, even when it's not the ideal solution.
Right.
If you're going to find a problem with every solution, you're really not committed to finding the solution. You just
that's such a good point. That's such a good point. Yes.
So stay stuck for a while. When you get done of tolerating the stuckness, okay, let's move. The second thing, and this goes back to, I had to have been in maybe the first or second grade. I was a reader. I'm still a reader. I love reading. And I got to buy this fancy bookmark with the little tassel at the end, and it had this pretty unicorn on it, right?
Oh my goodness, yes.
And on the bookmark it said, anything is possible if only you believe. Now, I remember this bookmark. My grandmother and I had a conversation about what that message meant, and I don't really know that it fully resonated with me. But now, fast forward, doing, tons of cognitive behavioral therapy and neuro-linguistic programming and all the transformation work, that really is the message.
Right.
Yeah. So there's no coincidence that I remember that bookmark.
And I think maybe everyone has these moments that are ingrained, that substantially change, whether it's a switch, whether it's a path or what have you. But yeah, I totally understand that. Yeah. So can you distill that communication advice?
Well, yes. So it's really important that you realize the possibility really starts in your mind.
So it's the self-talk, it's the conversation we have with ourselves.
And it's the flexibility that you're willing to look at an obstacle or a challenge. Because I am still fascinated how one person's excuse can be another person's motivation as to why they succeeded.
Sure.
So it goes hand in hand. There needs to be a will and flexibility here to find the solution and see things through a different lens.
Right. Oh, that's interesting. A shift in perspective, however you look at that. That's really interesting. Okay, I'm going to sideline again.
Okay.
So, you jumped off a bridge in France for fun? You weren't pushed.
So, if you go abroad and whatever, people jump from bridges for fun into the river. It's safe. They know there's no rocks there. And it was a hot summer day. And we were walking through, I was in Switzerland at the time, but we had just taken like a day trip over into France. And everybody was like jumping off the bridge and we were cheering people on. And I was with a family member and I said, I want to do it. And she said, I want to do it too. And so we just closed and everything. We hopped over the other side and off we went.
I would have jumped with you. That sounds amazing. Wow.
Yeah.
What was that feeling like when you hit the water?
It was just cold. I just remember it being cold, but I remember on the way down thinking like, okay, I have to hold my breath. And then I still was falling. And then I was like, okay, now I have to hold my breath. And I was still, because it was so, I was just used to like jumping in a pool or jumping off a diving board. It was, yeah.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah. Oh, nope, not yet. There you go. Yeah. That's hysterical. Well, Heidi, thank you so much for spending time with us. I absolutely appreciated your answers and how thoughtful and introspective they were.
Yeah, you're welcome. And thanks for taking the time. It was great to be here and spend some time with you.